Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on a very special episode of Strategy with Jason. I am here in New Orleans. I mean, I made it just barely. Just barely. The goal today was to do a drive, but it is literally a sheet of ice.
It is.
In the entire city right now.
It is.
I love it. As we were kind of driving over here to see you, my GPS says like, oh, it's 5 minutes. No, it took us like 25 minutes just to get over here. But hey, guys, I'm with the one, the only, the oh so famous Mr. Peter Duffy. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good to see you, man. I don't know about the famous part yet, but
he paid me to say it.
We're getting there.
No. I'm going to tell you guys right now, me and Peter have known each other for a long time. So if there's a couple inside jokes and we giggle about stuff, it's totally okay.
It's all gravy.
It's all gravy.
Louisiana gravy.
It's Louisiana gravy. So
yeah.
let's actually start there because I know you really well.
Yeah.
All right. But a fair amount of people out there maybe just kind of don't know how you got started in the auto business or how Dealer Image Pro kind of got started.
Sure.
And you got a cool origin story.
Thank you.
So let's kick it off there. How did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
So my name is Peter Duffy. I'm a professional photographer and the founder and CEO of Dealer Image Pro. I've been in automotive for 15 years. And I started with one dealership, a clipboard, a camera, and a phone as a photo vendor in 2009. 2016, I invented our photo software, Photo Assistant. And today we work with just under 1,000 dealers in 6 countries. So it's kind of anyone that tells you the American dream is dead is full of shit.
Well, dude, and I think we met somewhere around that time. And it was around that time. And I remember when we met, you're like, I got this idea. And I'm like, well, dude, that's cool. And you know what it is? I'll have to admit, I've met a lot of people that have come up to me through over the years and said, Jay, I got an idea. And I'm going to tell you right now, not everyone gets to execute. And you have done an amazing job of doing exactly this. But for everybody out there that doesn't know what Dealer Image Pro is, like, what was that kind of like aha moment for you? We're like, okay, that's a problem. Here's how we can fix it.
Well, we were photo vendors, right? So we are working with dozens and dozens of photographers at over, I don't know, at the time, about 100 dealerships. And we couldn't reach other states. And so other states were calling because our website was doing pretty well. And we're like, we can't just put labor in Missouri for, 5 cars a week or something. And so we're moving into some new offices. And I have these really great friends of mine who are great businessmen. And they said, Peter, what you have right now doesn't scale. You have to be able to allow the dealership to take the photos. And in that moment, well, we're already talking about an app, but it was more like operational stuff for us. And then in that moment, I just thought, if I could give someone a guideline to photograph the car properly, then we can take care of everything else to make sure it was consistent on the dealer end. And that was the aha moment. And so my wife and I took like the last 20 grand we had or something saved for a house. Somehow she allowed me to do that. And I was like, if we make this app, honey, we could do it. And like, we didn't talk about that, but we didn't have any investors. So we constantly used our own profits from the business we already had. And it is very much the definition of bootstrapping.
And that guide is really, I think, what really made it unique. Because there were some, there are some other solutions.
People are copying the shit out of it, I guess so.
Well, I'm thinking about it because I remember when you were telling me about this, right? I'm like, well, there are other solutions out there that do allow dealers to kind of capture it. But even that was wildly inconsistent. Like the capturing was wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, so
so you brought this kind of digital guide.
The difference I think, there are phone apps that have photo apps, which I feel like are impractical.
Yes.
I think that we give what is called a photo assistant kit, which is an iPad Pro, a charger for the device, progress decals, a paint marker, and an LTE data plan, because we know that dealership Wi-Fi is terrible, so we make sure that we can get those
you addressed
assets,
it all,
right?
You addressed all
we
of the
addressed
problems.
everything all at once.
And
then now you have the actual tool to do the job, not just an app on a phone. And so...
But you guys even went farther than that. See, this is what I think was cool. Because like, just because I have a camera doesn't necessarily make me a photographer.
Nope.
I mean, we have Austin here and he's shooting.
All the best AI background
and,
removal studios. Just because you have a camera in a studio doesn't mean you're going to get good results.
Like you do need to have some working knowledge. Like you do need to have some working knowledge of angles and perspective and stuff like that. And it's like it take some time, but you guys also address that.
Yeah. So think about it like this. If it's Saturday morning, the family car needs to be cleaned, and you give your kids a bucket, a sponge, a soap, and a hose, what's likely to happen?
I'm gonna have some seriously wet kids. That's what's gonna happen.
Wet kids. They could leave soap in the car in the sun.
Half the water's gonna end up on my house
in the ground and scratch the car. And what I guess I'm getting at is the results are unlikely.
Yes.
And so nothing happens at any business, never mind a dealership, without process communication and training.
That's right.
And so that is another thing where we're the only company that gives an iPad Pro to every dealer we work with for every rooftop. And then we are the only company that has unlimited training in the way that we have it. And so we do it from start to finish. And the main thing, I think, and it seems to be a good strength of ours, is making sure that dealer management doesn't have to be involved a lot because they're busy doing other things. So you have to make a good use of their time and take that photographer and just foster them into what we were, into photo vendors. That's why we give the progress decals, so keep them organized and make sure that they have all the tools that they need to be able to do that 7 days a week. And when you have a photo vendor 2 to 3 days a week, your cars are only getting online half the year.
And we know speed is everything. But I see this is why and this is me putting my dealer principal hat back on. This is why I can understand why you guys have grown so fast. Like, I can understand this, right? Because there are other solutions out there that just kind of focus on the technology side.
Yeah.
You guys came full, complete solution. You've come in and addressed the people, the process, and the technology.
Yes.
Which makes it a complete solution.
Yes.
And, for anybody out there watching, listening, I've talked about this many, many times on many, many other podcasts. Like, dealers, you have to look for a complete solution, not a part of the solution.
Right.
Because that's usually when things fail, right? I mean, how many times, even as, I did this as a dealer too. I make mistakes, I brought in what I thought was the coolest piece. I'm like, oh, guys, this is going to change everything,
Yep.
But then didn't realize, without someone assisting or partnering with me on the people and the prospect element, that the technology I bought into was just an expensive paperweight.
If you know Mark Cuban, he has a quote, I do believe it's him, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me on it, but he basically says technology is only as good as the people that are using it.
Yes.
So adoption is huge. And so if you can give someone, like we talked about just a few minutes ago, if you can give someone the best studio, the best cameras, the best AI, whatever it is, if you don't have them knowing what's going on with it, then it's going to fall apart, and it'll fall apart quickly. And that's how you get churn. And we have a very low churn. Many dealers that stay with Dealer Image Pro stay for a long time, which is great. So that improves our LTV to CAC. And so that makes the whole company more valuable. And also it helps with the culture too, when you have good dealers that feel comfortable with your services and the team feels good about helping them. That's huge.
Well, and I like that you brought that up as well, because it does take a good dealer, right?
Yes.
I think too often, kind of dealers kind of look at this, go, I have a problem, and I'm going to go try to find, a piece of technology that's going to solve it, right? Yeah. I know some of the dealers you work with. I would consider them to be great dealers. You got a lot of good ones, and there's some great ones, and
we think so too.
And one of the things that I know that makes them great is just how much they care about that first impression.
Right.
Right. Because I've seen and been in some of their dealerships.
Yeah.
I know they care a lot about that first impression. And what better first impression to really dive into and create a complete solution around than the photos? That's the first thing that any one of my customers are going to experience, and it says so much about my business.
It's the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
Right?
So a tippy top.
In a microsecond, a customer will decide whether or not they have enough information to make a decision to buy a car from you or not. And it piques their interest just long enough for them to get them started through that sales funnel. And if you don't have that, they're not buying a car from you. They're going to buy someone where they see a car from a different place with the information that they need. But more importantly, and this is something we learned over, I would say, in the last 4 to 5 years, admittedly, is we have the tool, but the tool isn't what we sell.
Mm-hmm.
The tool, what we sell, is time to market and accelerated time to market.
It's the speed. It is.
It's the speed. And that affects so many things, right? So,
but not just speed, consistency.
Yeah,
right. Because I think it's one thing to be fast, because I have seen
Sure.
dealers really kind of, but then the speed is like I put 5 photos up. But okay, no.
This is okay too for preliminary photos and things, but dealers come to us for 3 things: consistency in their photos, time to market, and operational efficiency. It has to be easy to use, right?
Of course,
very easy to use. But when you talk about speed to market, if you can reduce the period of time from wholesale to retail, that's where the money is. It's sort of like a leaking ship. So if you picture your dealership as a ship out on the ocean. And all ships leak a little bit, but if you can minimize the goal is to minimize those leaks as much as possible. And so if you just picture, let's do another thing. So if we were both fishing with 100 hooks each, right? And you had 60% of bait on yours and I had 80% of bait on mine, I'm likely to catch 20% more fish, right?
Math makes sense.
And the amount of fish I'm catching grows exponentially the longer we fish.
Yes.
Now, that's time to market, right? Or that's getting photos online quickly. Then let's take that one step further. Now imagine we have the same 100 hooks and it takes you 11 days to bait 60% of your hooks and it takes 6 days for me to bait 80% of mine. Am I going to catch more fish?
100%.
Absolutely. And that is just crazy. And that's time to market and velocity in action. So let's take it one step further. Holding costs, according to Cox, are $40 a day. You have a 100-car lot. It's $4,000 a day to hold those cars for any period of time per day, right?
Yes.
So if it takes you 11 days to photograph your cars, it's $44,000 for you to, before anyone has ever seen the cars, at 11 days time to market. And I do 6 days. Now my cost is $24,000. So you're paying upwards of $240,000 a year before anyone has seen your cars.
See, Peter, this is why I love you.
Crazy.
It's because you are obsessed. With this. You are obsessed with this. And honestly, that's what I want in a partner. I want, because, again, this is me. I'm running an operation.
Sure.
Right? I have 100 plus people I'm employed with. I have multiple departments I have to overlook with. I mean, I want to partner with someone who's obsessed with this. I mean, and look, and here's the thing, and for everyone out there watching, knowing if you don't know this isn't version 1. This isn't version 2.
Version 7.
This isn't version 5.
Yeah.
This is version 7. And I think that talks a lot to that obsession. And it's a good obsession. It's a great one, right? So tell us a little bit about version 7 and what is new.
Well, admittedly, we failed at putting AI in the actual app. And the reason for that is our tool is used all day long in the sun, in the cold, and whatever it is. And typically out of a battery of an iPad Pro or any phone really, you'd get about 20, 25 cars. And when we put those models in there, it was making the processor think, which is ultimately making your brain use more energy. And so the battery life went down by quite a bit. And admittedly, again, it was probably one of the worst or biggest blunders of my career. And I can't be the first tech CEO that has had these problems.
Dude,
right?
It happens.
And so I said, I used it once or twice. I used the next version, the test versions. And I was like, rip these right the fuck out of here. This is not happening. We need to rethink this. And so the whole idea, though, was to make it easier from the time they receive that photo assistant kit to the time they shoot their first car perfectly, which usually takes about 6 to 8 cars, 6 if you're great, 8 if you suck. And so we really wanted to do that. And so we took it out of there and we just moved the AI to the back end so that when we get the photos, now the AI models are editing the photos that you've taken in a much more effective way. And then humans are quality controlling that on the back end.
See, attention to details, man. I mean, like, this is what I love. This is what I love about you.
I mean, it's about
you're
failure,
like, hey,
right?
I tried,
finding
it didn't work. I ripped it out. I started again, and now I'm version 7, and it's a phenomenal one. And
it's badass.
And I imagine there's many
incredible.
other versions to come down the road.
It's really cool. We're gonna have it out for the first time.
Dude,
here
it's that rolling commitment to making something better. It always impresses me. Hey, I'd like to shift the conversation a little bit,
sure.
Right? Because from a marketer, I mean, from the deepest part of my marketing heart.
Yes.
Okay. dude, you fucking crush it. I'm just gonna tell you right now, like.
I try.
We try. No, I'm serious.
It's not just me. It takes a team.
It does. And I understand that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, what you guys have done from a marketing perspective and the fun that you have and the way that you guys have found just a really cool way to articulate the value proposition that you guys bring to dealers. It is just, I mean, I know how much work that takes. Like, I know. So it's like when I see it, it's amazing. And now I got to start. Okay, for everyone out there that don't know exactly what we're talking about. All right. It started with a cowboy.
It did.
And a banana.
It started with the cowboy.
Okay, started with the cowboy and then the banana.
Get into the banana at an NADA conference. Yeah.
So tell me how we started with the cowboy, and then we'll get a little bit into what we're into now.
So we were in mid-COVID, and a lot of companies have these walk and talk videos where they're walking through some factory and doing different stuff. In fact, it was Dollar Shave Club, which really started it out, right? And so I said we need one of those videos, and because the majority or a big portion of our clientele are in the Midwest, and I was just like, what about a cowboy? There's nothing more American than cowboy, right? And so one of the best things somebody ever said to me was, Peter, I can hear the cowboy's voice, your voice come through the cowboy. And I was like, oh, I think I'm onto something, right? And so we made that first video. It did pretty well. It asked a lot of the audience. It was kind of long-winded. And then the second one came out and it just crushed it and got like 3.5 million views on YouTube or something. And part of that was paid, but admittedly. But and then so we made this third one and we're releasing it tomorrow at NADA, and the premise is that aliens have come down and given Cowboy Quinn, that's our cowboy,
Cowboy Quinn,
the technology to give to Earth's auto dealers. And my wife and daughter play some of the aliens. One of our friends, Lewis Norman, is in there. Lots of really cool stuff. But the whole premise, I remember being out working on my farm on like a Sunday, and he came to me and he was like, he texted me and he said, hey, I think the aliens should bring the technology to Cowboy Quinn. And I was like, sounds good to me, let's go. And so in April of 2024, when I was dreaming up what we're displaying here at NADA, which is a full-on stage and a full-on theater we're going to have in there, I was like, okay, we can tie this all together. And so pre-production started in April of 2024. We shot it in September, and we've been sitting on that video since December waiting.
Oh, that must be
to
killing
bring it
you
to NADA.
to bring it out.
Well, you know that I sent it to you already.
Yes, I've seen it. I have. I'm one of those lucky few that have already.
But what did you think right off the top of your dome?
Dude, I'm like, well, I have to admit, I'm a Cowboy Quinn fan.
Yeah.
Like, I am legitimately a Cowboy Quinn fan.
Oh, so wait, sorry. He starts walking around NADA after the first or second video with a banana talking, when the and banana everyone happened, just started liking
it. Oh, dude, I can't wait to see Cowboy Quinn. I'm looking forward to get my picture taken with him.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a bit of a fanboy.
Yep.
All right. And the banana, I heard that he's autographing.
He's going to sign bananas.
He's going to be autographing bananas.
He is going to be autographing bananas. Yeah.
And then when you told me, like, hey, I got Cowboy Quinn, I got banana, and I got aliens, I'm like, okay, you're the only guy I know that can execute on something that's just
what
like
does that have to do with automotive? And I guess
with
precisely the answer is almost nothing until you can tie it in. And when you tie it in, it's entertaining and also informing and showing off our product. And so, like, what are we doing in automotive if you cannot have fun in that way?
Yes, 100%.
Like, you're talking about such a great group of people. 1 in 7 people in the United States works in automotive, either directly or indirectly, including us, right?
Yeah.
And so they're a good group of people. They have a good sense of humor. Like, they know grit. They know how to make it work. And so to entertain that crowd, there's nothing that brings me more pleasure or nothing we're more proud about.
It is a very cool video. Now, for everybody out there watching, listening, who would love to watch this
link in bio,
this cowboy alien movie, where can people go and see the?
You can go to our YouTube page, Dealer Image Pro YouTube page, and it'll be there by the time this airs for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can anybody make a special request to get an autographed banana? Do they travel well in the mail? I don't know. Have you tried it yet?
I don't know about that. I think we'd have to go to NADA again next year. We'll probably do it depending on. I think we're gonna have like. Man, if we have 50% attendance, I'll be surprised.
It's
it's
going to be an NADA for the books.
It will be.
Yes.
We're already seeing the We're already seeing the curmudgeons on LinkedIn crying about they should have had it in Las Vegas. And I just thought, man, you make my wife and I have
known? Who would have known?
My wife and I have a very specific thing is we make the best of it. If we have something that just hits us hard, we just say, you know what, honey, let's just make the best of it. 100%. And so that's what we're going to do here today. Like, who cares? Like, we'll just make the best of it.
We'll make the best.
Yeah. I don't care if there's 10 people. We'll entertain them. We'll show them our stuff. And it is definitely a hit. Like, it is a huge thing to pull off financially.
It is.
So, do we wish there were more people? Yes, but such is life.
Well, look, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time.
Yeah.
But for everybody out there watching and listening right now who would love to learn more about Dealer Image Pro and just the complete solution and this partnership approach that you take.
Okay.
Where can everybody first learn, and then also how can people connect with you?
Well, first, our solution, we make it really easy. We ship your photo assistant kit. We have month-to-month contracts, so if you're not getting the results that we said you would get, you should fire us. So we ship your photo assistant kit. We have an orientation with your team. We train your photographer. We monitor the photographer. We use our 5-star support, and I mean, we have support that goes above and beyond. In fact, all of our Google reviews, or most of them, are about our support team. Mm-hmm. And then we inform the dealership about the process. And so you can go to dealerimagepro.com to look at more, dealerimagepro.com/demo to get a demo. And we really think that we have something pretty special. And there are a lot of solutions out there. So I think the main thing that I want to leave with is whether or not you work with me or not, focusing on the time between wholesale to retail and the leak in the ship that is, with holding costs, unused ad spend, just all of those little things that go on in there. It's just such a leak that you can't even see it, and many dealers don't measure it. But when you focus on that, there's a pot of gold under there. Get your time to market from wherever it is at least down to 6 days on average. 100%. And that seems like a good spot. Less if you can, of course, but 6 days is a pretty good spot to be, and you got it dialed in. I cannot tell you how many dealers I go to and they go, oh, we got to get recon and detail and all that stuff. If you just think about how a product is used from a customer, what is the customer journey? Just think of the car as the customer journey.
Yes.
So you acquired it, it's coming off of a car. Who touches it next? Where does it go next? And make that the assembly line, and you can begin to fine tune that process and get the photos online as soon as possible. And if you can do that, you're gonna be winning. So whether it's with Dealer Image Pro, I know we're not for everyone. I would like to think we are.
Well, it should be.
But there are a lot of options out there. But if you can do that and get a partner like us, I think, that obsesses about it, then I think you're winning.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes such a monster impact on the operations. And like I said, you guys are the complete solution. You bring the people, the process, and the technology aspect of it, and the product and training. Yeah. Hey, for anybody out there who wants to connect with you personally, how can they do that?
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can email me if you'd like. You can find me on Instagram. But I don't think I'm giving out my mobile number these days.
That's okay. Most people don't. But no, guys, you do have to connect with Peter. Peter's an amazing person. You do have to check out their YouTube video. It's not just Cowboys and Aliens. Peter also does an amazing series.
Dealers and Cars Getting Coffee.
Dealers and Cars
Super
Getting Coffee.
Fun.
It is super fun to watch. You all have to check it out. Peter, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today, dude.
We didn't get in trouble in this room. They didn't kick us out of the hotel, so we're in good shape.
For everybody out there watching, y'all have a